Hey, this is Jon Rognerud, founder of chaosmap.com. Hello, hello, hello. I'm doing another broadcast today because we are on a mission here. I am really fired up to help you here today and to get you some insights. You're actually coming in live here on the good old Facebooks. And you're looking at a very funky picture of me. It was a local presentation in San Diego for Sempo, fantastic organization, sempo.org. If you're not following those good folks, we'll be hearing more about that next week. And I spoke about owned media and search engine optimization during this particular presentation. But today's broadcast is all about paid, earned, and owned media, POEM. And because it matters, and you'll understand and learn how to think about this today and how you can apply it to your own business. And once again, I want to push you a little bit here today, get you this information and have you take some action items on this and think about how to apply these strategies into your business, because the end goal is you want to attract the right traffic, the right audience, obviously, all of that good stuff, and, build out that funnel. Keep talking about that a lot, the customer journey, the user experience, all of that front end stuff, as we sort of drill down into level 2 and level 3 of the funnel. Level 2 being kind of a warmer audience, right? And level 3, the hot buyer audience. But all of this is for naught if you don't understand, obviously, your targeting, all the things we've talked about on these recent presentations, and also that we recognize the power of the paid, owned, and earned media scenarios. So I'm going to flip over here, and we're going to take a look at why this matters, why this is important to your business, as I said, and also which is better. We're going to talk a little bit about that because not everybody's going to just dive into a particular area and call that call it uncle, right? You want to spread your basically what I'm talking about here, and you've heard me say it before, is diversification, right? So if we know that paid media is obviously paid advertising, then, is that the only thing you do? No, it's not. In fact, I have a great chart I want to take you through here from Altimeter Group, I should say. And this is really plotting the content marketing ensemble. It's kind of the headline of this graph here. And we've talked a lot about different types of content and ways you can create that, right? From short form to long form to micro form, graphical illustrations and slide presentations, photos, etc. But I'm not talking about that here specifically today. I wanted to mention the paid, owned, and earned media kind of structure, and also the things that you can use here to really get the ultimate result, which is the earned media, right? And so let's go through it here. And before I continue, if you have any more information or questions on this, I have a lot of information about this on the website. If you type Chaos Map into Google and just add the words paid, owned, earned, then you'll get the blog post and you can read all through it here today. But let's start with paid. So paid are things like print, like news magazines, right? So you're actually paying for that. Radio, TV, social advertising, we know obviously about Facebook and Google. Native advertising, that's one of the things that we do at the agency. So if you think about this, okay, what are some of the ways that I can drive traffic into my world using this this paid media? Well, we basically do this a lot with clients. You already are most likely using paid media yourself. It's a great strategy. These are typically folks who, again, depending on your targeting, you could have a warmer audience here. You could be sending paid ad to an existing subscriber list or buyer list. Very often, though, it's cold traffic, right? Again, this depends on your strategies, and each business is different. So let's move over to the owned category, right? Owned media. Well, that would be your website, your microsites, your blogs, communities that you build out, digital media center, press room, email, webinars, etc. It's really anything that you control. And we talk a lot about this because Facebook is rented land, right? Same with Twitter, same with YouTube. You don't own that. Yes, you can pay to be found, to be seen. Yes, you can upload information and data points there. You can obviously, as with YouTube, upload videos. but that is on rented land, right? Anything that you own is part of the owned media is something that is really strategically viable and sound advice for you as you continue to grow your business. Because if anything is removed from that rented land, you have the assets available and you can still continue to drive traffic. You can still continue to build your user experience and engaging audiences on owned land, right? So your website is going to become critical for this. So let's move on now to category 3, which is earned. Okay, now this is the ultimate in my mind in terms of where you are in this cycle, going through the paid, owned, and earned and into earned category is where people are essentially advocating for you, right? So you will have folks who are liking and sharing, folks who are commenting and essentially responding and engaging with your organic content or your own content. In this case, very often we see ads, right, from the paid category. So you might have a paid ad that's running and you're getting a lot of attraction from it in terms of earning comments, links, and shares, as I said. But you can build out a strategy here where that traffic is brought onto your own land, right? And that's a smart strategy to use paid to drive to build out your own media that in turn turns all of this into earned, right? So earned is the ultimate. And additionally on this, as you can see here for anybody watching, it's not just Facebook, YouTube, it's LinkedIn, of course. We talk about SlideShare, Tumblr, Instagram, review sites. That is a perfect example of somebody who has engaged with you during their customer journey, and they come out and add comments to Yelp or TripAdvisor, etc. Question and answer sites, like Quora, third-party communities, media mentions, all of that earned stuff is juicy, juicy stuff. And if you are looking at this here live right now with me, then you can see that, if you consider sort of the stage in the middle and your microphone and you're standing up there and you have your auditorium sort of spread out into, wedges from left to right, then paid is sort of on the outside, on the outer rim, if you will. And then as you move closer to the stage, that is owned media. And the ultimate, again, is the VIP section, which is up front where it's earned. So building this out and thinking about it in this way is very, very smart because ultimately it ties you to this, a strategic goal. Any content that you're pushing out there, why are you doing it? Why are you building this? And if you're thinking sort of, a little bit short-sighted, if you will, it's going to be, the answer is going to be, hey, I need traffic right now because I need to sell. Well, yes, that journey that I talked about, well, we need that to be built out. We talk a lot about funnels, right? But if ultimately you're thinking that way, it's going to be not for the long term, right? Because as soon as you shut that off, it's done. But that earned media that you're collecting and that they are advocating you for is essentially gold. So, think about these things and think about building out a plan for where you are in the cycle of owned, paid, and earned. And owned media is defined here simply by communication channels that are within one's control, right? So we talked about the websites and blogs or email. You control that list, right? And owned media is essentially customers. It's just simply a very, very cool definition. And for owned media, if you combine it with SEO, and that's what that presentation was all about a few years ago, then you have the added advantage of driving new eyeballs to your pages with keywords and links. And of course, you own all of that. Now, you don't own Google, but you are building your own media in terms of building that sort of weighted gold for your website and for the things that you own. So very, very cool. Paid media, easy to think about that, is strangers, right? So cold, as I mentioned at the top here of this presentation today. And it's really publicity gained through advertising primarily, right? It's basically paid media. It's embedded in that word. It's directing potential customers and purchasers to your website or landing pages for products and services. Again, different streams of traffic here is available in terms of those funnels. We like to send it to a website, to a landing page, right? But it doesn't always have to be. In fact, it could be an intermediate step here with a pre-sale page, something that sits on Facebook. Maybe it's a group that you're trying to promote. Although ads don't run directly into groups as of right now, there are ways to get around that. But ultimately, you want to end up on your owned land, not rented land, right? So paid media is great, and we actually are going to be having some folks on the broadcast here. We're going to talk about influencer marketing and using celebrities and social media personalities, etc., that already have a following already. You could pay for that, right? This is very popular currently, right? And there's a reason for that. It works, and it could be a lot of traffic. But again, that has to be done judiciously and correctly with a sound mind, because it's exciting to perhaps see not the Kardashians, obviously not going to happen, but some influencer with maybe 200, 300,000 followers to sort of showcase your wares. But, hey, if that comes off cheesy and not done right, we're going to learn a lot more about that in the next week here or so. But if that's not done right, it comes off as just sort of pushy, right? So all of this stuff needs to have a great strategy behind it to understand that all of it impacts your reputation, right? So finally here we talk about earned media, and the short description for that is fans. Right? Remember I talked about that auditorium and you're up on stage there speaking and presenting. Those fans, they're going to be close to stage, man. They're in the VIP section. And this is really, the ultimate. Earned media really refers to the publicity gained through promotional efforts other than advertising, right? And some of these definitions are right from Wikipedia, so it just sounds awesome, and I included that here. But then the flip side to this, which is interesting, and I find that clients have a bit of an issue with this, and of course, again, I'm generalizing here, some more than others, but at this point, you also have no direct say in what is talked about, shared, or promoted, right? It's what we call user-generated content, UGC. So you're in this stage, really, in this category, you're relying on fans, followers, and customers to promote your business. They're advocates for you, and really, they're sort of brand disciples or advocates, and you don't pay for that. It's all done for you, right? So all of this earned media in the fan section is going to be really, really important to build towards. And at that point, really the discussion is, hey, would you want 1 million subscribers on a YouTube channel, or would you want 1,000 super fans that belong into this category that I just described, right? So yes, of course, you want to build out your reputations, your followers across various platforms. But at this point, you are basically getting help from your fans. And these are people who are indebted to you. If you present an offer, they're going to just hand you their credit card, right? So I just wanted to share this with you today. I had a lot of fun speaking about that at the conference. The full blog post is up on chaosmap.com, so you can read more about it. But essentially, if you drive traffic using paid media, it's a great starting point, right? And then as you push them through to the owned media strategy, where you collect all the traffic and engage them there, then you will gain earned media as you grow. Now, one of the things I should also mention here is that rented land, I've talked about that a few times, is, you don't, just like Facebook doesn't want you to leave their platform, your job essentially in all of this is to provide a great experience, B, a sound strategic offer / content strategy, and C, the final one is where you actually have a sales process that really gets built from all of your activities. In the previous broadcast, I talked about, of course, it's almost like a forehead slapper, right? Yeah, I'm doing all of this because I want to sell. Yes, but you are also building a brand. Brands are so important, and I'm not talking about, Coke or Nike here. here. Yes, that is the true definition of a brand, where it's trusted, it's known, but really they're doing it on a much larger scale globally, but you need to think the same way in terms of building these assets and your brand. For instance, a perfect example is, as you build up likes and engagement on your Facebook page, you can retarget to that audience. And when the audience sees you, like back to your 1,000 super fans, right? Hey, I see another ad, I see another offer, I see a great content piece from company X. I know those guys, I love those guys, I'm just going to simply engage, right? It becomes such an asset and such a powerful tool set, if you will, that you can leverage going forward. And actually, just a sort of a warning note here, you see folks out there in the marketplace saying, here's a strategy, build off your likes, Well, you don't need 200,000 likes, right? You could have 50,000 likes, or maybe you just have a very solid audience build from video views, right? A bunch of folks have really enjoyed and watched your videos. Maybe they are in the 50% plus watched category and building audiences from that. Well, you need to test this for you. Don't sort of accept the message from another expert out there, or even me, right? Hey, I know some things, but I like to learn. I like to understand what's going on. I like data, so that really drives everything that we do at the agency. But it would not necessarily apply, and that's why I also a bit of a rant here late at night here on April 2nd. But I basically feel that a lot of folks get drawn into these fantastic marketing funnels and messages, and they don't understand fully that, hey, this works for them. That's not going to necessarily work for me as I just model or copy that over, right? You need to test it. And again, I'm not bashing anybody or anything here. This is part of the learning process. You're going to have some investments that are not going to go right. You're going to do some things that are going to do fantastically well, right? So it's never ending. It's never boring in this space, and I hope that you understand that as well. And finally, I just want to say this sort of in conclusion here, that all of this creates brand awareness for you, and that also, as I said, allows you to get marketing data. You can test it, and really. I would say that if the question was, hey, I really enjoyed understanding and learning about this, but what is the most important? Is it paid media? Is it owned media? Or is it earned media? Well, you probably guessed it already, right? They are all important, and they all tie together. They're drawn into each other in sort of, if you think of it almost like a Venn diagram, right? So you have these circles, the 3 buckets. In the middle there, where they all converge and come together, that really is where it's ideal, right? Because now you're leveraging and using all of it. So that's really the summary from here today. And I just always say thank you because I am very, very appreciative of all the sharing, the likes, the commenting. As I said, the media marketing broadcast up on iTunes and Stitcher and Google Play and Spotify now is growing and getting great response from that. And that response is not just traffic growing for me, it's also the positioning, as in, essentially my media that I'm positioning out there as content that I can leverage in multiple ways, which I talked about in the 10xing the content, the Gary V model, right? But also, frankly, because, it helps you. So I hope that this has helped you again tonight. And I look forward to seeing you in the next broadcast. A lot of folks are signing up to become interviewed on the broadcast here, which is another indicator for me in terms of popularity. And when people start asking you about it, that's when it gets interesting, right? So I've had some emails here actually last week. Man, we're going to have some very, very exciting things going on here. And I hope that you're part of the journey. This is not a... obviously I'm sitting here talking at you right now, but this is a two-way street. As I said, I like to learn. It's never ending, and I certainly don't have all the answers. That's for sure. I think the answers lies in action. The answer lies in taking action, and then not doing the stuff that's not working. You're pushing on levers that are not working. Well, that's ridiculous, right? Well, we know that, but sometimes we don't even, consider that. Let's go back to what was working and stop the things that are not working. So, but I digress. It's all good stuff here, and I really enjoy putting these together for you. And yes, once again, we'll catch you on the next broadcast. And this is Jon Rognerud, founder of chaosmap.com. Thank you for joining today. Yeah.